Today we will speak about foundations of social identity. Social identity has three main components. First, it is knowledge about membership in social group, so-called in-group. Second, it is emotional involvement and loyalty to in-group, sharing the same emotions and feelings. Third, it is belief about sameness of in-group and differences with out-groups. We believe that all in-group members share common attitudes, stereotypes, values, and they are different from members of out-groups. Each identity shapes as a result of membership in in-group, also as an opposition in comparison to out-groups. Existence of out-groups, negative and conflict relations with them strengthen group identity. There are several types of intergroup relations. They are ideal types, and of course in real life there are a lot of variations. The table represents 5 types of relations. They are analyzed based on 2 foundations. First, it is perception of group by its members. Second, their expectations about other groups. First type is exclusivity. Members of in-group believe that their universe and other out-groups are damned. They should fear in-group members. Example is Rwanda Nazi regime. Second type is dominance. In-group members believe that they are on the top and other out-groups exist to serve them. They believe that other groups should accept their ways of life and social order. For example, it's slavery or apartheid in South Africa. Third type is isolation. In-group members believe that they have all they need and they propose other groups to leave them alone. They do not want to interact with out-group members at all. As example, we see Amish people, some immigration ghettos, for example in France and other countries. Fourth type is coexistence. In-group members believe that they have their role in the world and they want all other groups to give them opportunity to live their way of life. As example, we see French and English communities in Montreal who do not really interact with each other, just coexist in the same towns or in the same communities. And fifth type is integration. In-group members believe that they can accept and respect other ways of life, and they expect members of other group also to accept and respect their ways of life. As example, we see multicultural communities which coexist across the globe. There are several approaches to the study of social identity. The primordial approach stresses the role of the salient social identity and cultural difference in provoking intractable conflicts and violence. It stresses the role of shared genes, genetic similarity, and predisposition to ethnic nepotism. It also provides strong biological foundations for ethnocentrism. According to this approach, ethnocentrism, complicated by ancient hatreds, leads to violent ethnic conflicts. The instrumentalist approach points out the leading impact of economic and political interests. It describes conflict dynamics as provoked by ethnic inequalities. It stresses the role of weak states, political, economic, social, or territorial disputes between 2 or more ethnic communities and their struggles over rights. It also emphasizes a role of political or ethnic entrepreneurs or leaders in maintenance of struggle and construction of discourses of violence. Constructivist approach develops a concept of person whose identity is socially determined and unfixed. Identity is a function and result of choice. In the world of different social offers, of political, ethnic, national and sectarian identities, people can choose the most useful or attractive one. Usually, identity which will help them to increase self-esteem and provide feeling of intimacy and support from other people. The main problem of the person in the beginning of new millennium is not how to develop chosen identity and make it accepted by others. It was important during the era of modernism. Now it is important which identity to choose and how to be ready to change this identity if it will be ineffective in certain conditions. At first, people create boundaries of identity to define distinctiveness between us and them, and they create meaning of this identity. They even can create history, ancestry, system of values for these identities. In our discussion later in the course, we will see how national, ethnic, and religious identities were developed through the process of identity development. Personal identity provides a sense of freedom and independence, but does not offer security. People without attachment to groups are free to make decisions and judgments, but not protected by communities. Social identity provides security and support, but requires loyalty to the group and acceptance of group norms and perceptions. To increase their security, people need to join groups, acquire identity, and become loyal to the groups. Acquisition of identity and loyalty requires acceptance of group norms, values, and views, and reinforcement of social identity. People look for balance between security and freedom, and each person in this search for balance finds one which better suits his or her needs. Social identity defines this balance. The more you're loyal to the group, the more you see society from the point of a group. In situation of conflict, people think and behave like other group members. The development of social identity is defined by the type of culture. In collectivistic cultures, for example Japan, social identity is central one and determines estimation of situations. People are oriented to group norms and are trying to be similar to others. Social and personal identities are strongly interconnected. In my research I found the following main themes in personal narratives: common fate, returning to close relations with ethnic groups, value of commonality, interdependence. In individualistic cultures, development of personal identity precedes development of social identity. Personal identity determines individual estimation of situation. People are oriented to personal achievements and interpersonal relations. In my research I found the following main themes in personal narratives: personal development, professional career, nuclear family, independence. Why people choose particular identity? What are their motivations? The Breuer theory of optimal distinctiveness stresses the existence of two opposite needs. First, it is a need for distinction from group, so-called intercategory contrast. Second, a need for inclusion into a group, intercategory assimilation. A person permanently searches for a balance between differentiation and inclusiveness. Reduction of uncertainty approach states that social identity provides access to social consensus. It gives opportunity to use this consensus as a basis for self-verification. The perceived interdependence approach emphasizes the role of self-interests. They derive from the awareness about common fate, perceived common treatment and outcomes as a result of intergroup membership. According to my research, identity serves 5 psychological functions for group members. It increases self-esteem and social status. It provides personal safety, group support, and protection. It also develops possibilities for personal growth. In your discussion this week, you will analyze constructivist approach to social identity. You will also see how 5 types of intergroup relations can be applied to analysis of conflict dynamics.